What would you do if you are hiking one day and you realize your little sister isn't with you anymore? What would you do? Welcome to Teaching Creative Writing with Miss Ria, and today we are going to look at this narrative writing topic. We are going to look at the steps in analyzing this topic as well as planning this topic. So our question: Sasha looked back and realized her little sister was not following them anymore. Write a story of the events that followed. So from the first step in our analysis is to read the question and to underline the parts of the story that would be important to us. So this comes from the elements of the story. So we would get from the questions most likely character, setting, problem. That's usually what we get from questions. So we underline Sasha for character as well as her little sister for character. Looked back would indicate setting. Where are they at this point? So you would have to interpret that the setting would be based on your interpretation, your storyline. Now, for not following them anymore, that is the problem. So you would see that we put P for problem. So you have characters identified by the C, then you have S for setting, because them as well would be other characters who are not named. So your job would be to give those characters life. Now, the second step, so the first step would have been to identify from the question itself your character, your setting, and your problem, and any other key points. You would see KP, key point. The second step would move into what category the story would fall into. There are two categories for narrative writing: fantasy type stories, reality type stories. The fantasy type stories are stories that you can make up anything, ghosts, duends, you name it. And the reality would be things that are based on real life. This question here can be both. So you can have a reality plot idea where they are hiking and her little sister got lost, and you write the story of how the family was reunited with the little Sasha's little sister. Then you have the fantasy side of things where the sister can enter a portal. Sasha would have to rescue her sister. She could encounter Bigfoot, a dragon. So you have the reality working with this question as well. So step 2 would be to put it in a category that is suitable for the question at hand. The third step now would be, after you've placed it in fantasy reality, what am I going to write? This is your specific idea. So our idea follows the formula HEARTS. So HEARTS, just to recap, heart would be horror, adventure, tragedy, sad, surprise, happy. So the idea that we are going to work with is an adventure where she's lost in the woods and she encounters a friendly dragon. Now, another point to note in this question here is the point of view. If you look at the question, it speaks about Sasha and her little sister. So it tells us that the person who's writing the story would be Sasha. So this is third person point of view. That's another important point in this question. So after we analyze by underlining, then put the category, then we get an idea. Now we plan with IRAAE. IRAAE is a formula that gives us the exact mapping of the story in terms of the plot from start to finish. So I is for introduction, R is for the rising action or building of the tension, the C is the climax, the high point in the story, FA would be the falling action, and E would be the end of the story. So let's look at IRAAE for this story. So our plot follows a reality idea where Sasha's little sister was kidnapped. So the introduction, we have Sasha and her family want to hike. Then the rising action: while walking, Sasha realized her sister Caitlin was not following them anymore. Sasha alerted her parents, who go in search of Caitlin. The climax of the story would be when the family hears Caitlin's screams and upon investigation see that Caitlin was kidnapped. The falling action, or the solution to this problem: mom quickly calls the police while dad formulates a plan to rescue Caitlin, where he knocks the kidnapper out with a log. And they rescue Caitlin, they're reunited. Caitlin is scared, but she is relieved that she's with her family. The police come and then they arrest the kidnapper. The family returns home, happy to have Caitlin with them. Dad is also honored for his bravery. So I hope that we would have learned the process involved in analyzing our stories. So you are to ensure that you underline the important points, character setting, problem, key points from your story question, put it in a category, find an idea, and then you plan your story with IRAAE. So I hope that this would have been helpful, especially for those of us who are writing the exams. Best of luck to you guys, and I want to remind you that you have what it takes and you are going to be winners.